In the video, our contributor Joost De Raeymaeker, all the way from Luanda, Angola, Africa, shares his impressions and review of the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 and Speed 4. The Pro, releasing in February, $225, will have a new dual-density PowerRun PB outer foam midsole with a core of PowerRun HG. It will weigh about 7.76 ounces, 220 grams in a US 9. The Speed, releasing in February, $170, will weigh about 8.35 ounces, 237 grams, US 9. It will have the same PowerRun PB foam and a redesigned plate, and will also sit on a slightly wider midfoot base. A bit about our wonderful contributor, Joost. He is a 5-time winner in the World Marathon Majors in his over 50 age group and lives in the tropics in Angola.
Here I'm today to show you the new Saucony Endorphin line. These are the Endorphin Pros. These are the Endorphin Speeds. They look very much alike, but they feel a bit different. One is for training, one is for racing. I'll tell you more about the details now. So, the Endorphin Speeds. What's changed and what's the same? This is version 4. They're apparently they have obviously been used. I've received them for a month ago, and I've been doing some training runs with them. I'm currently recovering from injuries, so I haven't run that much in them, but here is a rundown. Okay, so at first sight they look quite different from the Endorphin Speed 3, which I only have the winter version, the shield version. So the upper is apparently and obviously quite different from that version. So let's start with the upper. It's a more or less gusseted tongue with some padding, still some material here. The upper is a double layer mesh, reinforced in the back with the Saucony symbol. The heel is quite soft. You can see there's only a little bit of a heel counter here that's a little bit harder. It feels very comfortable and very much like a training shoe. It's not as much an all-round shoe as the version 3. It's more oriented towards faster work, in my opinion. The fit is good. It's lengthwise. It's true to size. It's wide enough for my feet, so that's a good indication for people with wider feet. So that's the upper. The midsole has this new lattice, what they call the lattice build, the construction. The foam feels a little bit softer than the previous version of the shoe. The speed roll, it's a wing plate now. You can see it's still quite flexible. It's a nylon plate, so there's not a carbon plate in there, so it's still flexible enough. You can torsion wise and back to front and sidewise, it's got enough flexion to it to not alter your stride too much. So the midsole is very soft to the feeling. If you walk in them, you can actually feel that you're not too far from the floor where the ball of your feet is. They feel very energetic and very fast for a training shoe. So I would say they're more oriented towards in up-tempo training sessions and the sorts. Saucony also says their midsole has changed, so this looks pretty standard to me. It's also quite soft and bouncy. What else? The outsole, there's this there's enough in the forefoot and in the heel. No real wear so far, but I haven't run that much in, but I don't foresee them wearing out too soon. Okay, so that's it for the Speed 4. They're a little bit heavier than the previous version, but while running they actually feel a bit lighter to me. So that's it. Endorphin Speed 4, they will retail for $170. So next up, the Endorphin Pro 4. Now the Endorphin line has changed quite a bit since the first version. I remember running in version 1 and 2, which were basically the same, which was a very different shoe from this version. Version 3, I loved version 3, but the upper broke down on me after about 300 miles or so here on the site, which happens more often in some shoes than others with me because of my wide feet and the way I run. I land here and then my foot does this, so it kind of works the upper more than it should. Talking about the upper, same as the Speeds, but lighter material. You can see it's a lot more perforated, a lot more airy. You can it's very breathable, very light, and it's not as it's quite different from version 3. Version 3, it was a bit sticky. The upper was a bit sticky, and as I said, it broke down for me. I don't see this happening on this shoe because the construction is also quite different. So it's very breathable. It's lengthwise, it's very roomy. It's not too narrow. My wide feet are still okay, and so it's a race fit for sure, but it's not too tight. So I don't foresee you getting any blisters or black nails or whatever in it. The tongue, you can see it's a gusseted thing. It's an elastic material, so it's quite easy to get into the shoe. You can kind of stretch it a bit. Lacing is fairly easy. You got these loops where the laces go through, and that's basically it. There's some reinforcement, the logo on the sides. There's the heel collar is very minimal. It's very flexible in the heel. It's very soft. No irritation whatsoever on the Achilles, which I know everything about because I'm recovering from an Achilles insertional Achilles tendinopathy, which is not very nice. The insole is glued in, and it's also a lot thicker than before, so you can see it's bouncy. It's bouncy material. Saucony also says that the whole shoe is vegan, so there's no animal materials whatsoever in the shoe, so this is false suede. So that's the upper. The midsole, it's the same lattice pattern. I don't see any real practical advantages to that. It compresses a little bit different if you see, but I don't think it kind of alters your stride in any way. So if you can see, it's more comes outward on the medial side, so it might actually do some sort of motion control. I wouldn't say motion control, but add some stability to the shoe. So the material is quite soft. I would say it's about the same as in the Speed. It feels very bouncy. You can, if you step into the shoe, you can actually feel that you're a bit more distant from the ground in it, and you can feel there's lots and lots of soft bouncy foam underneath your foot. So the plate, it's the now famous speed roll technology. It's the same as in the previous version actually. So it's a stiff plate, and it's kind of arched this way, so it helps with stability and moves you forward. The outsole is the same kind of pattern as in the Speed. It's rubber. Traction is good. I see no durability problems, so the shoe will last you at least 400 or 500 miles, I would think, before it actually breaks down, and that's not bad for a racing shoe. So that's the Pro. So this is the Speed and the Pro 4 next to each other. You can see they look pretty much the same from afar. You can see the Speed is a little bit more built up in the upper, a bit more sturdy, a little bit wider looking in the upper as well. See, this material is a lot lighter, a lot less sturdy than on the Speed. The bottom, there's a little bit more rubber in the Speed, but not that much. So, post-run impressions, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. Well, first impressions after another run with the Speed 4. They are a little bit more oriented to up-tempo work than than previous versions, but nevertheless you can still run basically at any pace with them. They're a great all-around workout shoe, and now even more suited for tempo type runs or marathon pace, whatever you're trying. And they felt great, very cushioned. The forefoot feels rather well close to the ground, but you can still feel all the cushioning. The plate, the nylon plate, you don't really feel that much effect from it. It's basically more or less there to stabilize all that PB foam, the PowerRun PB foam. But it's a great balanced shoe, great for all-round running for me. So this time the Saucony Endorphin Pro for some more impressions after running in the southern hemisphere. Tropical sun at this point. So the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. It's been quite an evolution. I wouldn't call it revolution, but quite an evolution since the first version of the shoe and the second version. The Endorphin Pro 1 and 2 were a very fast shoe, but very very low forefoot and some good plate and some good heel cushioning. The third version 3 was quite different. Geometry changed completely. I took it out of the box and ran a local marathon, and it's straight away, and it felt great, never had any problems with it. And now version 4 changed the geometry again. Unlike I said in my presentation about the shoe, the midsole foam has PowerRun HG, like in the Elite core in the midsole. You can't really feel it to the touch that's what I was referring to in my midsole details before. But the shoe is incredibly cushioned. You can feel the sock liner, the very cushioned sock liner. You can feel the midsole. The plate is just right. It has the speed roll technology, which works a charm for me. It feels very, very good in the forefoot. Is where I land, and it's a shoe that likes to pick up the pace. It was very easy for me to go to like 5:30, 5:20 pace in it without issue. Strides, whatever. I'm currently not in any condition to run a marathon at that pace, but since I'm coming back from injury, but it's definitely a possibility, and it's a great shoe. It's a little bit heavier than some of the competition, but it feels very light and it runs great. Turnover is fantastic, and as I said, cushioning, turnover, it's a fantastic feeling shoe.
Thank you very much for watching. We have full multi-tester reviews for the Speed with 6 comparisons and the Pro with 9 comparisons over at RoadTrailRun.com. Have a great run.